Hey, how's it going? In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to create a Flask API and then make basically like a web development server. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to be following the first steps of this tutorial. The reason being is this tutorial is more suited for Linux users, and this gave me a very hard time trying to convert all the commands to Windows. So I think it's good for someone to make a Windows equivalent of this tutorial. So the first thing you want to do is go into a directory. I just found any directory that I found would be appropriate. The very first thing that you want to do is this command. This works on Windows as well. You might want to change it. We'll adjust accordingly. So it is Python 3-m venv. I think they use .venv as well. Let's see if that works. Let's see. Opening a folder will close all folders. So it's waiting right now. It's taking its sweet time. I'm gonna pause real quick and then I'll get back to you when it gives me something. Very strange. I think what happened is I don't actually have a folder in this directory yet. So it made the virtual environment, but since I'm not actually in that environment, I have to open that. So let's do that. Yep. Just as I said, so in the terminal, I created the virtual environment, but because I didn't have that folder open, it didn't show it here. So let's do this again. I'm going to create a folder and then we're going to open that folder. This is YT tutorial. Let's use that, and then we're going to use that folder. We're going to do the same step here. That way there's no confusion whatsoever. But if you ever run into that error, you know why. So we're going to be using this same command. Move out of the way. So we're going to bring this up. Yes, I trust the authors. He's a pretty cool guy. We play bowling every Sunday. Let's see. So now that we're actually in this directory, both in VS Code and in the terminal, I'm going to do Python 3 -m venv.venv. This will create the venv folder. So next step, while this is waiting to load, because it does take a sweet time, the next command is source.venv bin activate. We don't have, Windows doesn't recognize the keyword source for whatever reason. So we actually have to just go into this folder, scripts, and press activate. And we're going to use that, you're going to use the terminal to do that. So that file right there is what we're going to call. So we do .venv, and then we're going to do \scripts \activate. So now that we're in this portion, we actually have access to the virtual environment. I don't know too much on what it means, but that's just what it means. So the next step is to install Flask while we're in this. I'm actually going to just copy that command right there. Actually, let's Python 3 -m pip install Flask. -m pip install Flask. Boom. All right, so we're going to wait for that to take its sweet time. Okay. So it looks like everything's already satisfied. Okay, cool. So, so I already have a pip install Flask already good. So we're pretty much good there. Remember, if it doesn't work, hold on. So in case it doesn't work, so my Python 3.10 doesn't recognize Flask, but it recognizes Turtle because that's a natural import to Python. So it tells me if I can import Turtle into the IDE, the idle, and I press print Turtle, I can actually find the folder and see if Flask is installed properly. I know for a fact Flask isn't installed properly on this version of Python, but I know for a fact that import Flask worked here. So I can do print Flask And if this is happening to you where you're not finding the module, check in your system variables. It's likely that Python wasn't installed properly, and that screwed me up for so long. So definitely look into that. Otherwise, let's continue this tutorial. So they are creating the pip freeze requirements.txt. I'm going to see if I can do that. If not, then we can skip it. This is more so for the Docker portion. We don't really need that, but just to see if I can convert that. All right, let's see if this works. It actually works. So you just do pip freeze, and then this is where it gets different. So it's a different command for whatever reason. So you're gonna have to trust me here. This is what I had to do. So the equivalent to touch app.py. So that's not recognized, right? So we have to do new item type file app.py, and it creates app.py. That alone took me almost 30 to 40 minutes. And naturally, this is why I want to, create a tutorial like this. So add code to handle simple web requests. Open the Python Docker directory in your favorite IDE and enter the following code. So we're going to straight up just copy this code into our app.py. Okay, hello Docker. Test the application. So this is where the tutorial comes to an end, because we're just going to be running the Flask app. And this is very important because I got a glitch so many freaking times. But without further ado, let's just freaking do it. So let's save this, obviously. So we want to run Python 3, I think -m flask run. Yep, -m flask run. Let's see if I get that same. Oh, snap. It's not. Oh my God. I think because I've done it so many times. So to simulate the error that I once got, Python 3-m flask run, I'm getting this error, could not, the Python Flask could not be found. Let me find a better. All right. It's because I edited my Flask app environment variable. And because I did that, I was able to get it working. But this is the key. This is the absolute key for you to get your Flask app running as a development server. Let me take that off. I wanted to see if it was working on a different. But you want, let's run this. So we want the environment variable to be Flask app, and we want to equal that to the application name minus the extension. So we want to get quotes in. And because of that, now that we're in this directory, when we run Python 3-m flask run, it's going to find whatever the variable name is. So in this case, app, and it's going to run that. So now it's running on a development server. So when I press follow link, hello Docker. And that's how you do it. That is how you run a development server with a Flask. I think this is an API or something like that. Let me know if this tutorial helped you out. If it did, I don't know, comment or something. I have no use for likes or subscriptions, but if you comment and say where this tutorial fell short, where this tutorial did well, I'd really appreciate that. Have a great day. Thank you for your time.